This conference will now be recorded.
Hi all, welcome to the session. Hope you can see my screen and I am audible.
Yes.
Okay, that's great. Okay, so we have discussed on the data entities and we have seen how to work with them and how to work with a multi-data source entity. So today we'll be discussing on a new topic, okay? And that would be composite data entity, okay? So we have seen one issue with multi-data source entity. What's that? For example, let's say we have two tables. One is sales table and the other one is called sales line. In sales table, I will have one record, okay? And this one record will have the sales ID. And in sales line, I can have multiple records. For that one record, I can have, let's say for example, 3 records. And in these 3 records, I will have a duplicate, which is a sales ID, which is a duplicate. So in this scenario, whatever the multi-data source entity that we are using is going to fail, obviously, will fail because it is creating a single staging table. So what do we do? What we need to do? If it is a one-to-one mapping, then you can go with multi-data source entity, or many-to-many mapping without any duplicates. You can go with multi-data source entity. But in this specific scenario, it's not possible. So we have a new thing called composite data entity. And this composite data entity is an entity created out of an entity. Okay? If you are creating a query out of a query, we will call it as a composite query. If we create an entity out of an entity, we will call it as composite data entity. Okay? So let's take an example. I will take 3 tables. Let's say, for example, cost table, and the second one is sales table, and the third one is sales line. Let's take these 3 tables here. Okay, we can take 3 tables. Why always take only 2 tables per entity? This time let's try with 3 tables. Okay, so for that composite data entity, the first thing that we need to do is create the individual entities. Okay, create the individual entity. Go to data model and then create a data entity. Let's call it as ICI cost table entity. Okay, I am taking the standard table now, and the standard table is a cost table. When you rebuild, you might get some errors. We need to again add the model references. Let's do all that stuff. It will be very interesting, you know. Let's do all this. One second, it's loading. Primary data source. I want to say cost table as the primary data source, and then let me call the public entity name as ICI cost table and ICI cost tables. Click on the next button. Now see here, I will select only mandatory fields out of the cost table. Okay, I don't want to select all the fields because if I select all the fields, there will be 150 or 200 fields, and it will be very difficult for me to export or import the data. So I will take only mandatory fields out of it. Let it load. You know, if there are more number of fields in an entity, it will take more amount of time. Okay. And Gaurav, yesterday I saw your ping here. I think
Yeah,
you're facing issues while importing or something. What is that actually?
yeah. Actually, while at the time of posting, I'm facing the issue.
You should not.
While
What
getting
is the issue you're facing?
it gives me a message of some header length.
And one more thing is you have given only 3 fields for the entity. Okay,
Yeah.
I think you might have only added 3 fields.
Yes, yes. Only 3 fields. A small entity.
Okay. And then what you have done, what is the error it is saying? I did not see that error clearly. Okay. It says content type text or HTML. Did you use content as JSON or HTML?
JSON, application JSON.
This is a something different error. Error code
Yeah,
411. The request must be chunked or have a content length. Seems like you are
yeah.
doing something wrong. But actually, the post request. Why did you select the form data? It should be raw, na?
No, it was. I don't know why why it was get selected. I selected the raw only.
No, no, because you have not selected raw. If you select the form data, na, then obviously you might have entered something else. Because I can see the form data is checked here, not the raw. In all the screenshots,
Yeah,
I can see the same thing.
yeah. In first image, I have selected the raw and
And in the third image, I can see you have selected the raw.
yeah, yeah. I
Forget,
was trying
you got the
another way.
data. Okay,
Yeah,
while posting as well, you need to select raw.
yeah. It
Because
is selected. It is
okay, in the
selected
second image,
raw
you have
and
selected raw, and then you have sent this one. Even then, you are getting
yes,
the same error.
yes.
Okay, let me check
I
once.
was
Okay,
trying. Yeah.
because but actually, I tried with a whole lot of entities. I never got this error. Let me
Yes,
check.
yes. That
Okay?
was I was surprised that you did it very smoothly and I'm getting this error. Why this happens?
Because I tried with, I can say, hundreds of entities, but I never got this 411. Let me check. If you can let me, you do one thing. Okay,
Yes.
send that project file. Project file to me. I
Okay.
will check. Okay,
Yeah.
1 second. I want to check the mandatory fields. Okay, one. Okay, account number is mandatory, and there is one more field. Currency code is mandatory, and cust group ID is mandatory, and then no, that's it. Yes, those are the mandatory fields. I have selected the mandatory fields. So once you are done with selecting the mandatory fields, click on the finish button. One entity will get created, the customer entity. Okay, and the next one is sales entity. Let me click on the add button and then a new item again, and then let me select the data entity and let me call it as ICI sales table. Okay, I will call it as ICI sales table entity. Click on the add button. In the sales table as well, we will add 2 or 3 fields. Okay, sales ID, currency code, customer account. Okay, so let's add 2 or 3 fields. Whatever is mandatory, I will add. Okay, I don't want to add the not mandatory fields. Whatever is mandatory, I will add them. I click on the next button. 1 second, it's loading.
Kumar, for that, what files I have to give to you? The package
You need to
by
export the collection
creating.
and then you can send me.
Okay.
The problem with adding the sales table and sales line is this is the one. It is going to take a hell lot of time only for adding the entities.
Yeah.
Once those are added, done. It will take less amount of time because there are hundreds of fields in those tables here. Okay, at last we got those fields. Remember this select all button. This will also take some time. Let me expand and select the mandatory fields. Sales ID is mandatory, and then here I can see currency code is mandatory, cost account is mandatory, cost group is mandatory. Check, check, check. Oh, there are a lot of mandatory fields here. Invoice account is mandatory. This language ID is mandatory, and then shipping date request is mandatory. You know, in the previous versions, this many fields are not there. We used to have only sales ID, currency code, and cost account. We used to add that three, and remaining we used to keep as is. Okay. But in this case, I think there are few more fields which are mandatory. Let me click on the finish button. Now it will create a sales table entity for us. Okay. It has created a sales table entity for us. The third entity that we need to create is the sales line entity. Click on the new item and then select data entity and call it as ICI sales line entity. Okay, click on the add button and select the sales line now. Okay, let's select the sales line as the table now. Sales line as the table and make it ICI sales line, and then you can make it ICI sales lines. Click on the next button. It will take again 2 or 3 minutes.
Public entity name and public collection name fetched by IntelliSense, I guess. Sales line and sales lines. Am I
Fetched by
right?
IntelliSense, but
Yeah.
here the problem is based on the table name, it will take automatically. But the problem is, what is the problem here? Already, if there is a sales line entity, there will be already sales line and sales lines. It will just
Yes.
simply update that. So whatever you need to do is you need to give the names as per our need. Okay.
And can we have the name of public entity name by data entity name? Is this not correct way of defining the name?
You can
Means
give whatever the name you want. Okay.
okay.
You can give whatever the name you want, but I keep that in that fashion so that we can easily remember.
Okay. Because the data entity name ICI sales line entity, and
Hmm.
the same name we can give in a public entity name.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Now from this fields, let me remove this select all. Okay. Now let me select the mandate. Okay. Now you can see again there will be few mandatory fields here as well. Currency code, customer account, customer group, and sales line as well. These are the mandatory fields. And you can go back to this one, shipping date requested, and you can come down. Sales ID is also a mandatory field here. You need to add sales ID as well. Otherwise, we don't know whether it is the right one or not. Oh, they have made it not mandatory, but let me keep sales ID. Okay. I have added sales ID, and then let me add the sales unit, and then sales quantity, and then sales price. Along with this, I have added the remaining stuff. And let me add one more thing called item ID. You will also know what is the item here. Okay. I have added item ID, and then there should be something called line amount. Please check, 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 check. Line amount, this one. Okay, done. We have added few of the fields which should be enough. Okay, and similarly, if you want to add the line number, line header, line percent, that's all up to you. You can add all those fields. Okay, so once done, click on the finish button. Okay, once done, click on the finish button. Now three individual entities are created: sales table, sales line. Do a rebuild. This is mandatory because I want to generate the XML now. If you need to generate the XML, we need this. There is no other choice. Okay, because yesterday I think we have seen how to work with the XML as well. Let me check in the downloads. There should be a XML, not this one. I say multi-data source entity, and I think yesterday we have taken the element type. Okay, we have taken the element type. Today we will take attribute. We will take attribute, and then we will do a import and export. Okay. Good. It has given the error. It's saying source document types should be added. Sales unit here as well. We need to see what is the entity type here. We need to see the model now. Go to data types and then go to extended data types here, and then check the sales unit. And then we need to add that particular model. Let's add it. Okay, let it load. We will add it. What is it? It's sales unit. Source documentation types. Okay, that is one more thing that we need to add. Now, what you need to do is you need to go to Dynamics 365 and then model management, update model parameters, select ICICI, click on the next button, and then you need to select source documentation types. This is the one. Okay, next, finish. Done. So once it is loaded, do a rebuild and then check. Check. 1 second. Done. Now do a rebuild again. Still you're missing few things here. Ledger and detail. Go to update model parameters. Select ICICI. You know one thing. Okay. You need to remember to add this. Okay. And you might ask me, do you remember all this? I will simply say no. Okay. Whenever it's needed, I will add them. The retail and the ledger. Go to ledger. Retail. Next, finish. Okay. It's building now. Now it's asking for source documentation. You know what what people used to do? Okay, instead of, let's say if I take ICICI, okay, frankly this will get irritated. Is that right? The people will get irritated, yeah, most of the times, because you're adding each and everything. So they used to add all the modules. What happens if you add all the modules? What happens if you add all the modules? Your application will become bulky. If you don't want your application to become bulky, then you should not do that. Okay, you should have some patience and you need to add those modules one by one. Okay, because actually what I can do is I can add all the modules and I can show you. Okay, but that way doesn't work. Tomorrow morning what you will do is you will do the same thing when you are on the production, and obviously you will end up with a lot of unused modules. What is the purpose of adding HR now here? Adding the human resource of no use, is that right? Depends. Okay, whatever the modules you are using, you need to add only those modules. Very, very important. Please remember. Okay. Now it came up with fiscal books. And I used to have get one more question from students. It's throwing error with one by one. Will it not throw error for all at a time? Okay. Because we can add all the modules at a time, but Dynamics is built like that. So we need to bear for some time. Or there is one more way of working now. Okay, or there is one more way. Okay, you need to go to sales table and you need to find all the reference models and then you need to add each and everything. Okay, you need to add all the references. That is one more way, but actually finding will take some time. I'm adding few more needed modules here. I don't want to make you wait for longer time, so 1 second. Fiscal books is done. General ledger, next it will throw from here, and then dimensions not needed. Data sharing, it will throw from currency, cost accounting, business, bank types, possibly. Done. Rebuild. now bill got completed successfully. Now the next step would be, what we need to do is you need to take what you need to take export of all these entities. Okay, let's do that. Let's export the data from all these entities. Okay, creating the export project, and let me click on the add entity here. Okay, first of all, let me provide the group name. I will say cost sales lines, and on the front I see I, or you can call I, because I want to add all the three entities at a time. Yeah, that is one more thing that we can see. Let me take ICI, and I got the customer table entity, target format. I will take XML attribute. Okay, skip staging. That's up to you. No, add. This is one of the entity. Done. Now similarly, I want to add sales table entity, and then skip staging. No, add. Added. Third one is ICI sales. Oh, what is this? No sales line. Why there is no sales line entity here? Let me check. Sales lines. Oh, it's saved with some other different name. Okay, let me do one thing. Oh, sorry. Let me load this project, and let me add one more entity for sales line. Okay, click on the add entity, and let me select this arrow mark here. Okay, very bad. Okay, it's named as order lines. Okay, it has taken some other label called order lines. It's common, yeah. You need to identify them. That's the only thing you need to do. Attribute, skip staging, click on add button. Now we are done. Now we have added all the three entities that we need. Click on the export button. Let's see. It should export the data for all the three entities now. Okay, it should export the data for three entities now. Now, where is this job history? Here, and then you can check each of them. Okay, if you select each of them, you will get the data. This is the cost table entity. Select. You can refresh and you can download. Refresh, refresh, refresh. Customer 33 records exported, and now it's going for sales table. Let's see. It's still running. Let's see. Let's wait for a minute and check. Refresh. Done. Sales table 749 records. Okay, in the meantime, we will download these files as well. Download file. Save. Download file and then save. Refresh and check for the sales lines now. Oh, there are a lot of sales lines. Let's wait. There are a lot of things here, which is why it is taking some time. Okay, let it load. Once it is loaded, we will download that. No worries. In the meantime, let's start with the composite entity work now. Okay. The first thing we need to do is we need to identify the individual entities, and we have done that. The second step is we need to add relation between the entities. Okay. We need to add a relation between the entities. Now, what is the relation between cost table entity and sales table entity? It's through customer account. Go to properties and then you can call it as ICI cost table entity, and cardinality will be 0 more. Okay, I have the customer, but there can be or there cannot be. Relationship type will be association. Related data entity cardinality will be exactly one. Related data entity is ICI cost table entity. You need to select that. ICI cost table entity. All these are mandatory. Please remember. Okay. And now the next step would be add a relation. Click on the new normal. And what is the field name? Customer account. And what is the related field? Account number. This is what you need to do. Done with the first relation. The second one will be with the sales line. Now we have a relation between the sales table and the sales line. Now add that relation. Click on the new relation and go to properties, and then you can call it as ICI sales line. Cardinality will be 0 more. Related table cardinality exactly one. Relationship type one to many. Association related data entity ICI sales table entity. ICI sales table entity. This. And now click on the new button normal, and you need to select the field which is called sales ID here, and related field is also sales ID. Select this. Done. Okay, this is the first step. What is the first step? Add the relations between both the entities. So once you have added the relations between both the entities, if you want to create, you can create a, what do you call this one directly? You can create this one directly here. Frankly speaking, what is the next step? You have added these relations between the tables. Then what about staging? Sorry, the entities. Then what about staging tables? Is that right? In the staging tables as well, we need to do that, na? I have the cost table, sales line, sales table. In the sales table staging, open. And if you see the relations, you can see data entity, ICI staging, sales table staging dot sales ID equal to this one. Along with this, you need to add what? You need to add the relations. You need to create the relations. Okay. And please remember, here you need to create a normal one. And here in the properties, you need to add the field as definition group. And here as well, the related field will be definition group. Oh, where is this? Sales table entity dot definition group. Oh, 1 second. Sorry. It's sales table entity. Sorry. I need to create a new relation. I am using the existing one. That is the wrong thing. Okay. You need to create a new relation and call this as sales table now. ICI cost table staging. This is the one you need to add. Okay. And then you need to specify the cardinality. Cardinality will be 0 more. Related table cardinality will be exactly 1. Relationship type will be 1 to many. So association. The related table will be ICI cost table staging. Okay. And then here click on the new normal relation and the field will be what is this? Execution ID. The related field will be execution ID, and then you need to add one more normal relation, and here the related field will be definition group, and here the field will be definition group, and the third one is the normal relation again. You need to add what is that? Cost account. Related field will be account number. Okay, this is the relation that you need to add. And similarly, you need to add in the sales line. Before that, you need to add two integer fields. Okay, and the two integer fields will be one we will call it as row ID, and the other one we will call it as parent row ID. Okay, and these fields you need to add in all the tables. Okay, you have 3 tables now. You need to create them in all the 3 tables. Okay, now you might ask me, oh, what is the purpose of adding them? These are used for identification of row and parent row. Okay, now the next thing, open the cost table staging and then add this fields, paste it, save, open the sales line staging, open, and then you have the fields, paste those fields here, done. The next step would be add the relation, new relation, and then go to properties, and you can call it as ICI sales table staging. Okay, cardinality, it can be 0 more. Related table cardinality, it will be exactly 1. Relationship type, association, related table, ICI sales table. Is it right? No, it will be sales table staging. This is what you need to use. Similarly, click on the new button, normal, new button, normal, new button, normal, and then you can call this as definition group. You can call this as definition group. You can call this as execution ID, and here related field will be execution ID, and here the related field will be sales ID, and here the related field will be sales ID. Done. Save. Okay, done. Now we have added the relations as needed. Okay, relations as needed. This is the next step. So once you are done with creating these things, okay, now let me go to the sales table entity and properties. 1 second, let me open them. Okay, here it has taken this one. I will update it to ICI sales entity. Okay, actually there is one problem in Dynamics 365 entities wherein it will throw the error with the labels. Okay, so I want to update them. I will call it as ICI sales table. Okay, second time when you run this, you will get the error. In previous versions I used to get it, so I'm just updating the names of it. Okay, I'm not doing anything else. Cost table entity, open, properties, label, I want to call ICI cost table. Done. Save. Okay, done. Now let me go and check back here whether this got exported or not. Okay, fine, and record 96 records exported. Good. I don't want to go with the triangle button. Okay, there will be some relation missing or whatever it is because the data is from Microsoft. Okay. Oh, very bad. What it has done in the order lines.xml. Now I need to check this view staging data because it is not allowing me to export. It says not started, no errors. Okay. Next, validate. It has validated. This is well and good. And what happened to this? 330 order line 2. Let me go to the log. For this one, I want to see the view execution log. Okay. And here it says order lines 5996 exported, but it did not export anything. Very bad. 1 second. It is throwing shown error. 1 second. Cannot create a record in order line. Sales order 002 L001. The record already exists. This is the problem here. Okay. I think it is checking for the primary index. Let's check what is the primary index. Where is sales line staging? Let me check if there are any indexes here. Staging IDX, definition group, execution ID. Huh, good. In the sales line, definition group, execution ID, and then what I have done, I took the sales ID field. Okay, good. What did it do? Sales order 0002 and L001. This is the sales order which it has got the duplicate one. 1 second. Now let me go to the sales line. Right click, open designer. Open designer and then indexes. There are a hell lot of indexes. Let me check this first one. This is the problem. Sales line number. Is this unique? Yes. Okay. For sales ID and line number, they have got the duplicate index, but it should not. Okay. Seems like some data mismatch. Okay. So to solve this error, there are multiple ways. From that, the first way is if you go to the sales line entity, okay, you will have the fields in this sales ID. Actually, sales ID is not needed. Okay, actually, this sales ID is not needed. But you might ask me why you have added. Okay, there is one specific reason for adding it. Okay, because I want to show you sales ID in the line table as well. Okay. Oh, this is sales table. 1 second. Let me go to sales line fields. Okay, this one is not needed. The sales ID because already you have in the sales table. Even this customer account and customer group is also not needed because we are adding the customer table as well. So let me remove these fields. 1 second. I will remove customer account, customer group, and then I have one more. Okay, let it be there. Shipping date is not a problem. Okay, but if you want, you
Or
can
when
remove.
you are removing this field, there is a relation, right? How you are going to join the sales table and sales line?
Oh, that's right. 1 second. No. Between the entity relation, I have the sales entity dot. Oh, you mean to say this relation? Yeah, that's right. I agree. That's right. 1 second. Let me not save it. Haven't seen it. Let me check. 1 second. Sales line entity. Open. And let me take the fields here. Oh, you mean to say the sales ID has the relation? Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that has got the relation between both of them. Sales ID and sales line. Okay, so that should be there. You're right. Okay. The remaining fields can be removed. Okay, the customer account, the customer group, and shipping. This one is there. You're right. Okay, I haven't seen that. Okay, done. Now we have added the relations, and then we have the data. We have seen how to work with these multiple entities. Now the next step is create a new composite data entity. Here we have something called composite data entity, and then let me call this as ICI composite data entity. Okay, and then click on the add button. So now once you click on the add button, it will create a composite data entity for us. What it will do? It will create a composite data entity for us. Okay, now to the composite data entity, we need to add the root entity and the embedded entities. The first thing is the new root data entity. Go to the properties and then select ICI cast table as the entity. Okay, you can select ICI cast table. Now to this you can add any number of embedded data entities, any number of children you can have, but you need to define the proper relation. Okay, ICI sales table entity, you can specify the relation here, ICI cost table, and then to this you can add the embedded entity and you can call it as ICI sales line entity, and you can specify the relation sales line. Done. Save. Okay, now we have added the composite data entity. What is the next step? Do a rebuild and check whether it got synchronized or not. Let's do that. Let me do a rebuild. In the meantime, we have downloaded the file now. For composite data entity, the file is mandatory. So what we need to do is we need to generate a file. Okay, at any cost we need to create a file. So let me open Notepad. I don't know whether I have installed Notepad++ or not. Okay, I have the Notepad here, and then take the customer entity, click on the edit button. Here you can see there is a whole lot of data. I don't want all these customers. I have the document, I have the customer table entity. I need only one record. Okay, I need only one record. So remaining all the records, delete, delete, delete. Done. Okay, this is my customer data now. Okay, you can simply copy this and then let me take to the new Notepad, paste, and this is done. I'm not going to save this. And the next one is sales table. Right click, edit. You got the sales table data. Again take the document, again take the sales table, and then this time I want to data only from sales table. Let me take this. I am taking the first record, and then you can paste it down here. Okay, you can paste it down here, and in this the customer account is DE001. Good. Now the next step is you should not end the customer table here. Instead of that, you need to end the customer table here, the cost table entity. This will be a cost table entity. Okay. Now what is the third one? The third one is the sales line. Let me go back and let me open this. Click on the edit button. Good. I got one line. That will be enough. I will take the sales line entity and I will copy up to here. And then I am not going to end this sales table here. I will have this sales line here, and then here what I will do is slash sales table entity. Okay, you can take slash sales table entity. This is what you need to do. Now what happened? You have the cost table, you have the sales table, and you have the composite. Okay, this is the sample file. Now let me click on the file button, click on save as, and then let me call it as all files. One second, comp.xml. Click on the save button. Done. Now check whether this is working or not. Open in the Internet Explorer and check here whether that file works or not. If the file does not work, then obviously we cannot use it. So let's try. Let me open in the XML and check. Sorry, Internet Explorer. Okay, it says sales table, cost table, and everything is good. Looks good. Okay, now close this button and then go to the front end. Now the next step would be go to the URL USN and then let me go to system administration and then data management. This time we need to use the composite data entity for export and import. Now you can click on the export button here. Now you can call this group as ICI composite. Click on the add entity. Here set use sample file to yes and then entity name ICI composite data entity, target data format. See here for composite data entity, the target format will be either XML attribute or element. Please remember. Okay. Now you can see, click on upload and add, and let's select the comp.xml. Where is that? It's on the desktop. Select comp.xml, open. If everything goes fine, it will map everything correctly. If it, otherwise, it will not map. Let's see. I will show you how it will look like once the mapping is done. Okay.
Kumar, one thing, are we not refreshing the entities? It's not required.
Once you do a rebuild, the AOS will get restart and it will get automatically refreshed. Okay. Which is why I never refreshed the entities. Okay. Now select the view map here. It will show you 3 different entities. This is how you are going to work with composite data entity. Okay. Now mapping visualization, mapping details you can see here. Okay. Done. Now you can see here a view map. Done. This is how it will look like. Okay. So if there is any issues with the file, this will not get generated. Now let me click on the export button to see whether the data is getting exported or not. Let me go to job history. Hey, it said job has scheduled, but it don't show anything. Okay, now it showed. Opposite, I say composite data entry. This is the one we need to look at. And mostly it might come up with a triangle or it might come up with a green, right? Okay, that depends upon the data here. I am using the demo data for this, so I don't know whether data is correct or not. Let's see. Okay. There are 3 things it will show. One is red cross. Red cross means there is no other choice. You need to solve those errors. Okay. There is second one which is a yellow triangle. Some data got exported, some data did not get exported. Then it will show a orange triangle with exclamation mark. And right, a tick with black color right. Then it indicates all the data got exported correctly. Okay. Let's wait for a minute. We will see that. Similarly, you can use the same file for data import as well. Okay, it's taking some time. Let me do one thing. In the meantime, I have the get address data. Instead of multi-DS, what is the name of the entity that we have provided? Okay, check if I have given the public API or not. Oh, sorry. Unfortunately, I have not made it public API. If you want to use this as a OData service, now you need to give this 2 properties: public collection name and then public entity name. If you give these 2 properties, then only it will be exposed as OData service. You can try that. You can give the collection name and entity name You can try with JSON as well, or data as well. Okay. Then if you click on send, you can see the data using the get. Okay. Similarly, you can post the data as well. That's possible. Let it load. Actually, we are in USMF company. It has some less amount of data. Oh, it says 6749 records exported. Still running. I want to see. 1 second. Oh, it says 6749 records exported. But it says that this cross button. Let's see why it has a cross. And let's try to download the file and check. Yeah, because it says it has exported means, oh, the file, it has generated everything. Okay. Now we will see what are the errors as well. Okay. It has generated the data. You can see here ICI cash table entity, and then it has generated the data each and every line for us. Okay. But it has thrown the error as well. Oh, this is one more thing surprising for me in this. Okay. Either it should, if it throws error, now it should not allow us to download the file. That means at some point it has got some violation. Now let's see that. Okay. Now, did you understand about the composite data entity? This is how you will get the data. Let's say if you have multiple tables with one-to-many relationship and where unique indexes are there, then you can go with composite data entities, where you can create an entity out of an entity. For each customer, you can see how many sales orders are there. For one of them 15, for one of them 20, something like this. Okay. Next, execution summary. Now I
Line
am
records
interested
are
on this
not
error.
there.
Huh?
Sales
No,
line
it should be
records are not in
there.
there. Only sales table.
Exactly. No, no, no. Line record will be there. I think it got only one record, might be. ICI sales table entity, sales table entity. Exactly. Seems like it has created the sales table entity record. And okay, 668, 697. Yeah, you're right. Line records are not there. That's right. Which is why it has thrown the error. It has got some problem with the line records. That means. Let's see. Mostly I'm expecting it might be the unique index violation. Let's see. I have this 3 now. Let me check. Staging data is not available. Okay, sorry, not that one. Here view staging data. Here this says not started, but actually they got exported. Now let me close this. Okay, this is also fine. Here you need to find the unique index violation. Mostly, I am expecting it. Exactly. Here I think we should have the issue. But unfortunately, it did not throw any error here. 1 second. Any info log? 1 second, yeah. I want to check what is the error. It did not show any info log. Very bad. And in this one, let me check. Export data entity. No logs. This is where it should throw the error. But why it is not showing? Just a second. Let me check. I think it's taking some time to show the error. Because it should say the unique index violation or something for us. Okay, that's what I'm waiting for. One second, where is this? No, it's not showing the error here. Let me go back to the enhanced view. Nothing here. It is trying to show something here, but why I don't know. It is It's just refreshing here. I don't know what's the exact reason. 1 second. It's refreshing, but not showing the text. Because what it will do is, the sales line entity, it said finance 66 records, na? If it does not show the records for sales line, it will show us the information of the error. But unfortunately, I can see that it is getting refreshed continuously, and which is why it is not showing. Okay, it will show the errors here. Let me open this entity and then check. Okay, it's not showing anything. Okay, 1 second. There should be one more way that I saw. View execution log from here. Just a second. Come on. No. Okay. Actually, I think that should be the unique index violation that we got previously. If you do remember, previously when we are working with the sales line entity, na, we got the unique index violation. That should be the same unique index violation as I can see. And that unique index violation, there should be a specific reason for that. Let's see it. To check that, we need to see what are the entity keys available here. Okay. And currently it has not added any entity key in the sales line. This is very bad again. It does not have any primary key. Okay, and primary key is entity key. That is what it is saying. This is the problem. So what we need to do is, we need to add the sales ID. No, not the sales ID for sales line. The unique index will be with the sales line and then line number. Oh, got it. Okay. In this, the unique index, actually it should create automatically, but it has not created. What we need to do is, we need to create a unique index with sales ID and then line number. These are the two fields that you need to add in the entity key. Then it will export the records. Okay. Then it will export the records of the line as well. And I can see the entity key is empty here. Let me check for the cache table whether it has added anything to the entity. Account number. Let me check for the sales table whether it has added any entity key. It has added sales ID. This is the problem. Unfortunately, don't know what is the reason. When we have created this entity, it has not added the unique index. Generally it will do, but don't know what's the exact reason. It has not added this unique index, which is why it is throwing the error for us. Okay. If you add only sales ID, that will not be enough. Why? Because the sales ID can be duplicate in the sales line table. Along with this, you need to add few more fields. Please remember that. This is very, very important. Okay. You can add the sales ID and line number, and then you can export the data. Let me do a rebuild. Just a second. Mostly this will solve the issue because sales ID, line number, it cannot be duplicate. Line number will be incremented each and every time. Let's see. In this version, don't know why it has failed this one. Okay. I think you need to check each and every time this entity key as well. Okay. Because as I can see this as a problem. Because if it did not create the entity key automatically, then obviously it will throw the errors. We can't do anything. We can't help it. And one more thing is I found here is, I think they are still working on the screen. Because I can see, if you remember now here, we need to get the log text. It will say that you have the duplicate records or something like that. But unfortunately, it is not throwing any error. It's validated, and for this record, it is fine. Whereas for the next one, it should show the error. That error information, I don't know why it is missing. Because this log text is getting disappeared automatically. That means it is getting refreshed. Might be the issue is with the screen. This should not happen. And actually, there should be one more place. I can't say this in this version because what we used to do is we used to go back and directly check there. Let me check this batch job. It says 100. No, one second. There should be one more place. Filter, download file, 750, 5966. But here as well, for one record, we should have sales line. Let me try to find it. Because one record got exported, nah? For that, it should have the sales line. Let me check. No, it says no. Okay, let it be. We will export again. We will see that. Is it completed? Yeah, bill got completed. Now let me get back here and let me close and reopen the Internet Explorer. Just a second. And we will export it back again and we will see. Okay, let me check the primary index on staging table as well. I forgot to say this. Okay, definition group and execution ID are there, but it needs sales ID and line number as well. No, it's not needed. As index is not defined, it will not take. No worries. Done. Okay, this time if we duplicate issue, na, then obviously I need to correct the data and then I need to come back. Okay, because this is from the system data. The demo data generated by this one while they are creating this application. Okay, let me check. Export. And then I can call it as ICI composite. And then I can click on the add entity here. ICI composite data entity, select target data format, XML attribute. Okay, use sample file and then upload and add. You can select the desktop, composite, open. Because for few lines as well, if there is any data issue, then obviously it will not allow us to import. Let's see. Because this time we have added the entity key, which is a sales ID and line number. So I hope both of them will be the unique combination and we will get it. But let's see. It got added. Good. Now let me click on the export button. Job history. Let me go to composite data entity and it is running now. Okay, let's wait for a few minutes and then we will see. Okay, at least this time let's check here whether we got the errors or not. 1 second, because at the 6749 records itself it got failed. And where did it fail? Composite data entry, it said 69749. Cache table entity, okay, it has not given, but it will be 30 records. 750 from sales table, and it says these are the processor records, but unfortunately there should be some issue related to the data, I think. Okay, otherwise it will throw the error. Okay, it's the related to data itself, because 140 KB file. Let me check in the view staging data. 1 second, I want to see if I'm getting any error. That is the first thing that I will check. 1 second. Okay, it did not oh wait, hey, there is some problem here. Can you say this? It got vanished automatically. But what is happening? 1 second, let me press Control A and Control C. No, it did not show anything. Come on. There is some problem here. Because with the screen as well, there is some problem. And mostly the issues with the duplicate records might be, I need to check the data. Okay. Because while exporting the individual entities as well, when we have exported the sales line data, we got the duplicate issue. I hope the similar kind of thing is happening here. Okay. Please try in your environment. And what I suggest is, I have taken the standard tables, which has already having some data. Instead of that, you do one thing. You can take the standard tables itself, but first of all, check the data. If there are duplicates, this is what we get. But please remember, whenever the composite entity file is generated, that file will contain the data in this fashion. It will have the customer table, and then the sales table, and then the sales line. Actually, for this sales table, let's say there are 10 sales lines. It will show you all those 10 sales lines here. That's how the data is organized. Please remember that. Okay. But whereas coming to this one, actually I planned to show you the same file, but whatever the file it has generated, seems like it does not contain sales line data in it. Okay. It does not contain the sales line data in it. It has, oh no, it's there. For the first record, it's there. Whatever it has exported, it has cache table, sales line. Whereas for the other records, seems like it found some duplicates or something else is going wrong with the data, which we need to correct. Okay, the data should be corrected, then obviously automatically you will get it. Because for the first record, you can see there is a sales line entity. Can you see this? I see a cache table, sales line. Okay, this is how it will work. And for the remaining records, there is no sales table here. And here again, we got the sales table like this. Okay, it depends. It depends. And we are going to get data in this fashion. Please remember. We are going to have the cache table, and sales line. If the data is correct and everything goes fine, we will get the number of sales lines that we have for each of the sales table. Okay? Yeah. Now it's your time. Please let me know if you have any queries. I want you to try this and check whether it is happening in the similar fashion in your environment as well. Okay. Any questions? If there are no queries, we will end session and then we will connect again tomorrow. Thanks all for the session. Let's meet again tomorrow, same time. Thank you all. Bye.